What up YouTube? How we feeling today? Hope you're doing great, hope you're doing fantastic. Back with another Division 2 video, and today we're gonna compare the normal spotter versus the perfect spotter. As we all know, perfect spotter was introduced with TU15 and Season 9 Hidden Alliance with the new brand set Uzina Getica, or however you like to pronounce that. The perfect spotter, of course, is a little bit different than the normal one. It's very strange, as the normal spotter will give us an amplify damage of 15% for weapon and skill, where the perfect spotter from Uzina Getica brand set will raise our weapon damage and our skill damage by 20%. So if you read those talents, you will see amplify damage of 15%, or a normal raise of 20%. In my mind, it will instantly go to the amplified damage, right? Because the amplified damage is almost always a lot more damage output than a normal raise of the weapon damage. So today we're gonna test that out. We're gonna head over to the shooting range and I'm gonna show you all the damage numbers with then of course a perfect spotter build and then just a normal spotter build. So yeah, this is just a quick and easy and informative video what kind of spotter you need to go for. So let's head over to the shooting range. So there we are guys at the shooting range. First of all, I'm gonna show you the build or I'm gonna show you the damage stats or the stats of this build, because we need to compare almost the same stats, right? So this is like the normal spotter build. As you can see, and we just talked about, spotter amplifies total weapon and skill damage by 15% to pulsed enemies. So this is just the spotter build. I'm going over to the stats real quick. It gives us at 52.1% critical hit chance and at 167.7% critical hit damage with the 75% headshot damage. These three stats, or at least these two stats, will almost always be the same if I'm testing out the other builds, because we want to know what the damage output is. It might be a little bit lower on critical hit chance because I couldn't find the perfect rolls to show off the builds, but it doesn't really matter, especially not for the shooting range, if the critical hit chance is a little bit lower. We are just looking at the critical hit shots that these two builds will deliver. So this is the first build, some Grupo, some Seska, of course the two best in slot pieces, a backpack from Walker and Harris of course to upgrade our extra damage output, and then we went for of course Fenris for an extra 10% assault rifle. So let's see how much damage output this will give. Of course we're testing it out with the new Kingbreaker, the new assault rifle. At this build, this hits for a total damage of 144.1k, and of course we're using then the perfect flatline talent. Amplifies the weapon damage by 20% to pulsed enemies, and after 2 kills applies the pulse to the next enemy you hit. So let's test this build out first, right? So we are on a vulnerable elite, we set it on 10 meters. So let's see what my Kingbreaker does. We're pulsing it and we're shooting the body, and you see it goes up to 902. So 902 is the highest that we can get on body shots with this normal spotter build. So the amplified spotter build. Let's test out on the headshots. So the headshots will be 1.155. So 1.155 is the highest we can get with shooting headshots with this spotter build. So keep those in mind. I'm gonna write them down as well. So let's see, that was body shots were 902.9. So 902.9. And the headshots on this build were 1.55. Let's see if we can get a little bit higher. No, a 1.55 if I'm shooting straight. I'm missing that hat. Okay, 1.55, right? Yes. 1.155. So these are the numbers that you will get with this build, with then of course the normal spotter on there. But let's now switch it over to the perfect spotter. I found a very nice chest with critical hit damage already on there, critical chance as well. So that gave me the opportunity to roll the weapon damage over there. But just like I said in the beginning, this perfect spotter increases our total weapon and skill damage by 20% to pulsed enemies, where the normal spotter of course amplifies our damage output. So let's switch over to this chest real quick. Let's get the critical hit damage mod on there. Let's see, it's the third one. And now let's see what it hits, right? We're gonna get that Walker and Harris away for a Fenris backpack, because that gives us that 10% Fenris output, right? I think it was the second one, right? Yeah. So now we are rocking this build. Fenris backpack, the mask didn't change. Of course we went for the chest from Uzina Getica with the perfect spotter on there. The holster didn't change and the best in slot pieces didn't change as well. If we go over the stats, you see it's a little bit lower on critical hit chance. It's exactly the same on the headshot damage at 75%. But we are 0.8% lower in the critical hit damage. Then over of course to my gun, because the gun lowered itself as well, because the last build we used Fenris and then Walker and Harris, so we got a little bit more of a boost of weapon damage. So the total damage now of this gun is 141.6, so that's around that 2.5k per shot lower than the last build. So let's test out what this perfect spotter does then, shall we? Okay, let's reload real quick. And then shoot some body shots. I need that spotter to come in. And there we are, guys. You see that? 921.2. So this already hits harder than the normal spotter build with Walker and Harris, and then of course with the combination of Fenris on there. While the damage of our gun is like 2.5k lower, and this talent reads, it will just raise your skill damage and weapon damage to 20%, while the normal spotter will give you an amplified damage. So let's do that again, shooting the body shots. I need that pulse, thank you very much. So it's 921.2, 921.2. Where the last body shots with the perfect spotter build, higher damage output for a weapon itself, was 902.9. So this is around that 18.1k, 18.2k, 18.3k higher than the normal spotter build. So let's find out if the headshots do the same. Get me that pulse, thank you very much. And the headshots hit 1.108. We can get a little bit higher, I think. No, yeah, the 1.180. So we can get up to that 1.180. If we put that down, 1.180. The last build we had was 1.155. So this again hits like 25k higher on the head than just the normal spotter build, while it already says that amplified damage. So yes guys, or there is a problem in the UI. So the normal spotter will also be just raising your weapon damage, but now with 15%. But it still reads amplified damage. But the amplified damage versus the normal damage, normally it will always do the amplified damage a lot more damage output. But now, when the perfect spotter came into the mix, giving that raise of that 20% weapon damage, this hits even harder. So if you are in doubt if the perfect spotter hits harder than the normal spotter, here is your evidence, guys. It's both around that 20 to 30k difference. So if you're doubting, yes, the perfect spotter hits harder. But that's pretty much it for now, guys. Hit me up in the comments down below what you think about this. And of course, I thought that the perfect spotter will hit a lot lower than the normal spotter as the amplified damage and just raising the normal damage. But again, what do you guys think? Well, that's it for now, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to smash that like button and hit that subscribers button. And of course, the notification bell. PurePrime out.